Hello guys, and welcome back to Getting Started with LabVIEW. In today's example, we will look into the continuation of the previous video, which is the acquiring keyboard input. And what we're going to do is we're going to make it into an application where we acquire the input of the keyboard and change the position of the Boolean value here. So the key that we're going to use here is W for up, S as down, A for left, and D is for right. So as usual, what we're going to do is we're going to jump into the code itself, which is the acquiring the keyboard input. First, we're going to acquire the keyboard input here. So we need to initialize the keyboard, close the device input, and in here this is where we will write the code inside the while loop. So let's stop the while loop first, and as usual, whenever I have a while loop, I need to make sure that my while loop doesn't run fast. So let's put this wait time as ms, and let's put this as probably 50 in this case, and now I'm going to acquire my input here. So this is exactly the same that what we have actually covered in the previous video. So now what we're going to do is we're going to acquire the input, and we know that in the previous example the value here is a 1D array. I do not want a 1D array, so I want to only access the single element, which is the first index of the key that is being pressed. Now, whenever we acquire the input, which is W, S, A, or D, it will actually change the position probably by 5 pixels or 5 pixels of the Boolean control. So that is what we're going to do. And what we can do here is we can put this into a case structure. So we can put this into a case structure where we have true and false value. So once we put in here, we can see here 0 is actually by default, and I want to change this to W. Let's move this up first, and before that I also want to because we are changing the position of the Boolean value, we need to make sure that first we need to initialize this as a constant. So we can go to the property node and we go to position, and we just need to select all. So first we initialize the position of the Boolean control. So let's put this as create a constant here, and let's put it a position of 100 and 150. First, let's create this position, and we're going to use this as a variable for us to read and write the value of the Boolean control, and let's replace this to shift register. Now we have this, we can actually start writing the code. So what we need to do, whenever we press the key W, it will actually get the current position of the Boolean, current position of the Boolean control, and we're gonna add a certain number to make it move, to make it shift. So to do that, we need to unbundle. Let's unbundle to get the value here. So I unbundle, and because I'm moving W up, I need to get the top. I'm moving it up, and I'm moving it up to about probably 5. Let's move this up 5, and then I also need to bundle it again to get the new value. And because I'm getting the new value, I also need to replace the value of the Boolean control position. So this is what I will do. When I'm not pressing anything, the value just should stay as it is. So let's try to run this code. Oh, but before that, I need to make sure that I also know that the key is actually being pressed. So I'll put an indicator here. Put an indicator here. So whenever I press W, it should go up. It should actually go up, but instead this is actually going down. The reason why it's actually going down is because in here we actually define left to be from we define here from actually the horizontal position is actually from left to right, and the top is actually from top to bottom. So that's the reason why it's actually going down. So to rectify this, we can just put in a value of -5 here. And now what happens here is that whenever I press W up, it keeps going up. So now that we have already rectified this, we can actually add a case after, or maybe make a duplicate case. I will duplicate this so that I don't have to rewrite the whole thing again. Duplicate this case, and I want to change this to S because I want to write it down. I want to change this S, and because I know that whenever I want to increase the top, it will actually go bottom, which is actually, it will like the control will actually goes down. So I just need to put it 5 here, and I try to run this again. W S W S. Now we can also do the same thing for, let's add a duplicate case again. We can also do the same thing for left and right. So duplicate this case, and I want to put it A to move it to the left. To do that, I need to change this to left, and again, because this is actually moving left, and we know that moving left is actually moving towards this way, which is the left hand side, it is negative value, then -5. And let me duplicate this case again one more time, D, which is value of 5. So now let's run this, and I have, when I press D, it goes to the right. When I press A, it goes to the left. When I press W, it goes up, and when I press S, it actually goes down. So this is how we can programmatically change the position of the control using any keyboard input. In this case, it behaves like a game of WSAD whenever we press up, down, left, right. So we can also do this programmatically using keyboard input in LabVIEW.